So the dev server is closed, guys. Yes, unfortunately, they are not, extending the dev server for us during the weekend. So yeah, kind of sad, but this means some things that we're going to talk about. So what were the last things added to it? Well, the 14.0 BR I think was the main thing. It means that we are really moving into the future. Expect many new 4.5 4 plus generation aircraft to come in the next patches. This one is just the start, I gotta say. So yeah, massive changes to the Eurofighter. As I said yesterday, the Rafale got buff, the Eurofighter got nerfed, new bombs were added to the files that I didn't talk about it yesterday. Those include, for example, the UMPK variants of many unguided bombs, which is pretty interesting for the Russians. So for example, the OFAB 250 SV, the FAB 500 M62, the FAB 500T, the 1500, yeah. So all these bombs, they are just, probably going to be added, and they're very cool. Why? Because they're basically a glide bomb kit to existing non-guided bombs, which is pretty interesting. The USS Colorado was added to the files as well, so some vehicles here and there that are getting added. More stuff for the Kafir was added, more textures and stuff, so expect these to come very soon. And one thing that I definitely thought was very interesting to think about is that they actually added a new unused pylon texture for the MICA NG, the new generation for the Rafale. Yes, it is maybe coming, not for this update probably. The Gszabi saying that it's not for this update, but yeah, it's MICA NGs, guys. So they are considering, they are improving. I would say that even we might see this type of thing being added later, but in a sense that they probably will add a very soon kind of patch next generation of missiles, I think, right? So if you don't know what the MICA NG is, it's basically a second generation of MICA. Designed for stealthier targets. It has basically a new infrared seeker on the IR version, and in the EM version it has an IASA seeker, for example, so a much better missile overall, right? Which is kind of scary, but of course doesn't mean that it's coming. The M120C is in the files for a while, the R77-1 is in the files for a while, and they didn't come yet. So it doesn't mean anything, but it is interesting that we had that. Of course, other things are still in the files, like I said yesterday and before. M120 double pylon for the Eurofighter, but it wasn't added yet. And yeah, the Kafir, like I said, is pretty much confirmed to come now as the event vehicle. So what should you expect? When is the update coming? So since they actually closed the dev server, if they don't reopen like today, for example, or even tomorrow, but probably if they don't reopen the dev server today, we will probably see the dev server not being reopened at all, and we will probably see the update coming on Tuesday or Wednesday, Thursday next week, right? Very interesting, because is this a very small update? Well, kinda is, but not really. Like, this is a normal sized update. The thing is, the previous update in November was so massive with so many different changes and additions and stuff that we kind of got a little bit accustomed, or I don't know, like people are thinking that we will see these types of updates every single time, right? And especially because this update of December, normally it's the bigger one, people were expecting a lot more. So it is more of an expectation kind of situation, that a lot of people are saying that, oh, it's a small update, from actually being a small update. It's not a very small update, it's just that the previous one was so big that everybody kind of was expecting even more in this December one, right? So kind of crazy, but yeah, it's not a very small update, but people were expecting more. And another thing that I wanted to talk about before we wrap the video up is that you should expect to see a lot more for 14.0s. Like I was saying, guys, apparently the Eurofighter, the Rafale, and the F-15E and I are the only aircraft that will be moved to 14.0 this this update. So you shall see more of these coming soon. Why? Because a lot of the countries, I mean, only the US, the Israelis, the three nations that use the Eurofighter, the Germans, the Italians, and the British, and of course the French, because of the Rafale, will have technically a top tier jet now. So countries like Japan, countries like China, Russia, Sweden, all of them will not have a 14.0 aircraft, which is kind of nuts. We will not have a top tier jet for a lot of these countries, which means that we will probably see them coming the next update or the next after that, right? For the Russians, for example, the Su-30SM was leaked, so I would imagine that the Su-30 will be the aircraft to be added there. For the Chinese, will be the J-10B or C, the J-11B, stuff like that, right? The F-2 maybe for the Japanese. So all of these aircraft will probably come very, very soon after dispatch in the next, like in the March update, onwards. So yeah, this is just beginning, and I expect we almost hitting 5th generation next year, of so fast that things are moving with the pace that we have right now with the additions and stuff. Imagine that 2 years ago we didn't even properly had the MiG-29s. The MiG-29s were still coming, the F-16s and stuff, the 4th generations, right? So in 2 years we went from getting the first F-16s and MiG-29s to an Eurofighter. So imagine in 1 or 2 years what we're gonna see, right? So most definitely F-35s and stuff, I would say, right? But yeah, guys, basically this is it. Dev server is closed, which is kind of sad, but at the same time it is pretty cool because, of course, we will see the update coming very, very soon. So keep an eye out. I will be covering everything as always. Make sure to subscribe, leave a comment, leave a like as always. Helps a lot. And yeah, see you guys on the next one, and bye. See ya.